Hello, it's Carla here and I'm here with Severin. Today we're going to learn a little bit about peripheral neuropathy, what it is, and some exercises you can do with it. Now what happens is there's many reasons why you can have something called peripheral neuropathy. It could be because of diabetes, it could be because of your medication, or it could be because of your condition, something like rheumatoid arthritis or multiple sclerosis. Now what is important though is understanding that what it is and how to work with it to get better. Peripheral neuropathy will normally affect your hands and your feet. The type that we're looking at particularly is called glove and stocking peripheral neuropathy, like you put gloves on or stockings on. The idea is that what happens is that when you have this, you lose sensation in your fingers, so they may go numb, but you may also get burning, shooting pain at times. You may also find that you get a little bit clumsy. So what's important is that we try to work on keeping the sensation in your hands normalised. If you have a look at your hands and your physio's told you that you have peripheral neuropathy, you'll see that your fingertips should be nice and plump. If you have it, you'll probably see that the fingertips are just kind of flattened a little bit, and that's probably a sign that you are starting to lose sensation there. So what we like to do is work on trying to get you strong. If you're going through chemotherapy, some of these exercises are really important for you to do that. And remember, chemotherapy is not just for cancer patients. So let's remember, the first thing we're going to do is, this is just some slimy sort of stuff. You can get it from the physio, and the stuff that I have here is silicone free. So remember that if you have something like peripheral neuropathy, you may start developing things like latex allergies. So it's very important to make sure that whatever you have hasn't got latex in it or an allergen. So in this slimy stuff, Severin is going to just massage it. Now you'll find that I've slipped some marbles in there. Okay, and what Severin's going to do is just slowly try to get the marble out. Just using the same hand, and I know it seems kind of silly, but it's not as easy as it looks. What I like to do is do something like this while you're watching television. It's a really relaxing, kind of frustrating. It can get into your fingernails if you have lovely nails. But try and get them all out and really work each finger separately to try and work out the marbles. If you've got children, this is a nice thing to do, provided they're not going to swallow the marbles. Okay, is that okay? It's kind of relaxing, isn't it? And you realise how much dexterity you need to be able to do this. So what we'll do is, that's one that you could do daily, okay? Watching television or something like that. Now the next thing that you'll find with peripheral neuropathies, that the fingertips in particular get very clumsy, and it means that the intrinsic muscles of your hands, so these bits in here, don't work as well either. So we're going to look at a couple of different ways that you can strengthen your hands. We have a peg. Okay, so please do not say that everything is expensive. So what we're going to do is, Severin's going to slowly open the peg with each finger while you do that. Now, what's important is that when she's doing this, you're not doing that, okay? It's a sensation of making the perfect circle. And she's going to do that with each finger. Now, with you, if you could do this maybe 3 or 4 times, again, this is something you can do in the doctor's surgery waiting. Don't worry what people think. Take a spare peg for them if you need to. Okay, nice. Now, if this is getting really, really easy, we add expense to this by putting a rubber band around there. So that will make it that much harder. Okay, so you might not wrap it around as many times as I've done here, but the idea is that you can just work through and strengthen that. Again, with my patients, I ask them to put these in an envelope and just carry it with them, okay? So we've got the marbles and the slime, the pegs and the rubber band. Our next expensive thing are rubber bands. Now, what I've done is pre-tied these into a figure 8. So I'm just going to get you to put that on there. And so what she's done, she's going to just open out. It's not as easy as it looks, is it? Now the idea is, as she gets through each one, I'm going to then, she might then just do this one to this, and she's going to then work through each finger like that, and we might do it to that one. And then, just to make it a little bit more challenging, we're going to add. So you can add each little one, show them your hands. Yeah. And the idea is that you're going from there to there. And you add the rubber bands from here to here to here to create a web. Very simple. And again, this is something you can do while watching television or waiting in a doctor's surgery. Our next little fun thing. Sorry, I know. Yes, that's okay. Mm-hmm. And these are just small rubber bands, but you can get more expensive, fancy ones if you want. I'm sure someone does it in designer work. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the timber base of your Makarlu. Now, what I'm going to get you to do, Severin, is put your hands over the dome like that. Okay, fingers around. Now, the idea here is that she wants to feel like your hands are sucking up and away from the timber base. How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
And the idea is that we're going to be working on strengthening in here and helping create some sensation in the top of your fingertips. Because what can happen is that you can end up, if you do a lot of work gripping, you actually might end up feeling the pain here and not working in here. So you can just do your arm lifts, your arm openings. How's that feel?
Lovely.
Just a nice little way. And over time, you could then grade that up, taking the inside, and you can make that into a weight. Now, when your physiotherapist talks to you about strengthening your hands, or your occupational therapist, they might say, I want you to work to 100 grams, 200 grams. So by the time you've added all 3 domes to your Makarlu, that will be 500 grams there, which is important that you don't go straight away to 500 grams. How's that feel? Kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, so there we have some ideas for your hands for peripheral neuropathy. Some of the other ideas that I also like are to take things like a pipe cleaner. You can get them from a children's crafts store, and you could just slide them along like that. It's kind of it's nice. So again, each time, what you're looking to do is expose your hands to as many different sensations as possible. So it might be that, or you might have some lovely scarves, and you can just curl your hand on the scarf, okay? I also like to take the timber base and then just curl my hand through there. And what I like here is that I'm really working on intrinsic muscles, but exposing my hands to different sensations. So I might do something like this, or this sort of sensation as well, because there's different fields. Expose yourself to as many different experiences as possible to retrain the nerves in your hands. Thank you. Now we're looking at peripheral neuropathy for feet. Now, what happens? Remember, with your peripheral neuropathy, there's a sense of numbness. You can actually lose your feeling in your feet, particularly from the toes, but you can also get sharp, shooting pains that can keep you awake at night. So what we want to do is make sure that we are giving you sensation training to encourage the nerve endings to grow back if possible. So I like to do something like this where I just put my feet on the timber dome here just to start, and you can just come forward just a little bit, Severin. Yep. And back. And then you're just going to take this foot forward again and then lift up the foot, or I'll slip this under here, and you're going to just put your foot there. And so we're just going to come back and forward. Good. Keep the heel down if you can, and back. Now, when Severin's working, what I'm going to try and get her to do is feel that there's a space between her heel and her back toe here. And I want her to feel like she can lift that up and off the timber dome. That's easier said than done. Okay? How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
So, what you may find is that that can be very exhausting, and I might even get you just to do that. What we might do is then take a pipe cleaner, and again, you can buy these from craft shops, remember, they're not expensive, or you can get a little manicure toenail, whatever, I don't care. You can do whatever you need.
You don't want to be ticklish.
Okay, so all I want you to do now is just feel that there and expose yourself to these different sensations. How does that feel?
Yeah,
Kind of nice?
kind of nice.
Yeah, good. Good. And you might do that with the pipe cleaners, some lovely silk scarves. Make sure it's a really expensive one of someone you don't like, okay? Don't do it with your good ones. And then you might just expose your feet. Again, something you can easily do whilst watching television. The next thing that I like to do is I take this putty stuff again, and I put this stuff with marbles into it, and don't put it on the expensive rug. That's all I'm going to say. So we're just going to put that underneath your toes, okay? And I'm going to get you to curl it, press it down and curl it into the timber base here. How's that feel? So then you're going to lift your heel up, and what I've done here is I've taken the small dome from the Makarlu, and she's just going to lift her heel down and then lift your foot back up. Coming back up, yep, and rolling forward. Now remember, some of the reasons we have peripheral neuropathy can also lead to us having drop foot. The idea is that we can't pick our foot up and we start shuffling. So what we're wanting to do here is also working on helping you improve the way you walk. So remember, peripheral neuropathy is part of Parkinson's, it's part of MS and so many other conditions. So we're not just dealing with the neuropathy, we're also trying to work on retraining your gait. How's that feel?
Good.
Kind of weird, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, the marbles feel like a massage.
Yeah, good. So I'm going to get you out. That's now yours. Okay. So I'm just going to put that over there. So then what we want to do, I'll just take this out of your way for a minute. Now you will see that with the Makarlu, the big dome, I've taken the middle domes out, because if you have peripheral neuropathy, you don't want to put too much pressure on there. You'll find that if you have the middle one in or all three in, it may be too painful to stand on. The other part of why I like to use this is we've created this sort of flat bit here. So this will help you grade in. So if you went straight into the spiky bits, it may be too painful for you. Is that okay? So what we've done is curled her feet round, and then we'll just move that in a little bit. There, good. Nice. And then bring this little toe up, there, just there, and bring it in there. And I would just sit there again. This is something you can do whilst watching television, cleaning your teeth, just walking back and forward. Now, what she can do is then also then walk forward onto there. Just walk your feet right forward there, lifting it up and then lifting down. Then step your foot forward this way. There, that's it. Obedience, down and up. Nice. Is that okay?
Yep.
Up and down.
Nice.
And there. Now, this is very light, but for some of you, this may still be too much. If that's the case, put a towel or another band or something over it so that you're not aggravating it. Remember, this is the sort of stuff that you're going to have to do daily to slowly retrain your nerves, okay? Expose them as soon as possible. Now, you might say, I get shooting pain now and again. As soon as you start to feel this shooting pain or peripheral neuropathy, start these exercises. The sooner you start, the better you will feel and the faster your recovery. The last thing I want you to have is such permanent nerve damage that you can't regain. Okay? How's that feel?
Very nice.
Good. So, yes, see, you can even, if you can see this far, you can see the different circulation in her feet. She's already started to get a little bit more. And this is what we're wanting for you. We want to build the circulation as well as the nerve strength. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do there, Severin, is if you sit down, what we're going to do is we're going to take the timber base, and I'm going to get you to take this band. I know, it's a vision in pink.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the timber base and I'm going to put that there, and you're going to put the band around there. How's that feel?
Very nice.
So now what we're going to do is just flex the foot. So in other words, bring the toe to your face and point and back. How's that feel? So this is working on helping circulation and bring sensory feedback. But it's also helpful for that drop foot stuff that I was telling you about. That is the shuffle where you might hurt yourself. Now, for some of you, you may want to increase this sensory feedback by putting something like the middle dome. Remember, they're magnetised, so it won't slip and it will help. Oh, yeah. She's just got a nice happy look on her face now. So she's just going to go back and forward. Good. Just a few back and forward like that. The idea is that you want to get as much movement. Now you may also take your foot this way and this way. Is that okay? And this is where you might take something like the pipe cleaners or do anything. You know, if you've got children or grandchildren who want to sit there and play with your feet and tickle you, and feathers, pipe cleaners, scarves, any sensation, tissues, any sensation that you can expose yourself to, the better. Because remember, feeling the sensation is actually a very nice step. How's that feel? Good. So, pipe cleaners, slime with marbles, a band, Makarlu, all of these I'm working through. Thank you.